I want to talk to you a little bit today about resources. One of the things that I've always been, shall we say, really good at is making myself self-sufficient, independent, self-sustainable, and not relying on people that much. One side of that is a really good side because it means that, regardless of what comes up, you can deal with it. But the other side of that is that if you're going through something that's not going as planned, or something you thought would go one way, that it goes the other way, what do you do then? Because for those times, you can kind of go through phases where you're not really sure what to do, and it can get a little bit dark, if you like, because you don't know how to get out of it, and because you're not talking to anybody else, you have no way of breaking that cycle. So one of the things for me over recently, I suppose in the last week or so, is that you need to really think about, shall we say, setting yourself up for all eventualities. So if you're afraid of doing something, or you need to do something you've never done before, what resources can you pull in? What support structure can you put in place to actually help you if that thing doesn't work out? And I'm not saying that it won't work out, I'm not saying that it will work out, but I'm just saying that what things can you put in place to help you deal with that if it doesn't go the way you think it will. And that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned lately, is that you can come up with the biggest plans that you can come up with, and they may or may not work out. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean that in a way that we try new things. Sometimes we do something, it may work out, but you may realise that's not what you wanted. And it just comes back to that thing of what support system do you have in place? Because for me, I've always had, good friends, good family, and known a lot of really good people. But that when it came to tough times, I kind of go inwards, if you like. And I kind of don't go out and see people as much. And they're those times that you really need those resources. You really need the support of your friends and your family, like. And that's kind of what I'd say to you guys, is just that you need to plan for whatever it is you're going to be doing. And I'm not saying that things won't work out for you, but I'm saying that if you can put some sort of support structure in place there, maybe you have it already. Maybe like me, it's already there, but you just didn't realise it. And that you have friends there that you can actually count on when times are tough. You have your family there for you, which you can rely on. But if, like me, you've made it a habit of trying not to rely on other people, it means you have to kind of relearn that. You have to relearn that you need to spend time with friends and family, and that when things get tough, they're the really important times you need to spend time with them. But I haven't made that habit before. Whereas that's the habit I'm making now, is that you make sure you contact people who are going through what you're doing. So if it's like internet marketing, or if it's building a business, or whatever it is, it's like speak to other people that are going through something similar, and I can give you positive, productive feedback on that. Last thing you want is if you come up with an idea that you think is great, and you turn around to somebody in your family who's generally not that positive anyway, and you say, what do you think of this? And they've never done it before. They'll kind of tell you all the reasons you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't take a chance because it's unsafe. But then the other side of that is, do you want what they have? No, don't ask their opinion then. You just turn around to people and say, look, I'm doing this thing. It's really important to me. Can you give me some help with it? Or go and find some other people who are actually going through that with you, going through similar sort of stuff. Because it means if you're in the start of your online marketing journey, you're probably a bit scared, you probably don't know what you've gotten yourself in for, you probably don't know if it's a scam, and you don't know if it's going to work out. So you're still looking for something to happen so that you feel okay with it. And what I'm saying is that when you go through that patch, I've been there, when you go through that, it's difficult to talk to family. It's difficult to talk to your friends. Because when you've got something that you're really passionate about, but you don't know how to explain it, when people talk to you or ask you about it, you take everything personally, like an attack on it, or that you just don't know how to explain it to people, so you kind of gloss over it. And just it means then if something happens and things don't go as planned that week, that month, whatever it is, it's going to be very hard to get support from those people. because they don't really know what you're doing, because you don't really fully understand it. And that when you can actually bring it back to joining some sort of a community, then you can actually reach out to those people when you're in those times of toughness, because they'll have gone through it, or they'll have suggestions, those sorts of things to keep you moving forward. Whereas if you're in a situation that you and a couple other people are going through, and you ask somebody else who's completely never gone through that before, they may not have the best advice for you for that. But that essentially bring it back to that thing of you have support structures around you. Trust in them, trust your friends, trust your family. But sit down beforehand and explain to them what it is you think you're doing. Even if you don't really know what it is. Even if it's so far out there that you can't really explain it. Sit down and say, this thing is really important to you, and can they please just give you support with it? Because they will give that to you. That's one of the things that I've found, is that, you can live life with blinkers on and thinking that other people never do this, or that this is the way other people believe see you or think of you. But that when you actually start asking about things, that's when you can actually really see what happens in life. For those things that you're not really sure about, ask. Ask people, can they help you? Pull in some resources, get some help. Find a mentor. Get any sort of support system in there that you can. The more the better, obviously. But make that a regular thing, like every week you kind of, give them feedback, tell them what you're going through, tell them what the plan is for the next week. Kind of helps you with accountability, and they're there if you're going through a tough patch. So make sure you find some people you can really trust. And for a lot of us, well, I don't know for a lot of us, for some people, it's one of those things of, if you're not sure what it is, then that's where a mentor comes in. And if you have a mentor, regardless of whether they're paid or whether they're not, that essentially if you have somebody who's gone through what you're going through, they'll tell you it's okay, it'll pass. And don't freak out about it. And that's reassuring to hear, because you don't know otherwise. But bring it back to a basic level, talk to your friends, talk to your family, tell them you love them, tell them that this is what you're trying to do. You're not entirely sure how you're going to get there, but you're going to give it a go and you're going to work really hard at it. And just ask them to give you a little bit of, I suppose, a little bit of slack and a little bit of love, and give you some positivity. And you will be surprised at how strong those relationships will get.